Hey guys, Bubba here at the BubbaNews. All in one word, all in one news. How are you guys doing tonight? I will get the date right today, I promise. Today is Friday, May 30, 2025. Yeah. Sorry guys, last night's video I said today was Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know about you guys, but it is hard to keep up. And there is so much going on, and that's why I'm calling this one. I'm watching this weekend. Because there's a lot that we're going to talk about, and a lot is coming out this weekend. And it even could include this bad boy right here, this F-15 Eagle fighter, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But tomorrow, in less than 24 hours at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be down there, or I'm actually not going to be down there, but I'll be meeting with my buddy who lives down in southern Indiana, and he'll be down there, I'll be up here. We're going to do a live stream. We're going to talk about Shavuot and Pentecost and how that's coming up. I had a chance to talk with text there to Aaron, got a minute, and he sent me some verses and stuff. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So that'll be a lot of fun, too, because there's a lot going on this weekend. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this guy, Mr. Foreign Minister there of Saudi Arabia. He is not happy. But before we get to really today's news, this happened tonight, too. So I just wanted to throw this out there because Turkey's been delivering new anti-ship weapons to the Jolani's boys there of Syria. So the Israeli Air Force tonight destroyed a bunch of weapons that were just brought in from Turkey. So yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on this weekend, that's for sure. Let's get right over here. This is the verse we started off with this morning. They're in John 20, verses 28 and 29. Do you guys remember when doubting Thomas, when he finally saw Jesus after he resurrected, and Jesus said to Thomas, reach here with your finger, see my hands, reach here with your hand, put it into my side, and do not be unbelieving, but believing? And that's when Thomas said, my Lord and my God. And Jesus said to him, because you have seen me, have you believed? Blessed are those who have not seen me, and yet they have believed. Guys, we haven't seen the Lord Jesus Christ, but we know his word is true. And we know that he is coming again soon for us. And we know that he is our Lord and our Savior. And he shed his blood for us. And we believe in him. And we can't wait to see him again so very soon. We can't, not see him again, but we can't wait to meet him. You know, I love that in 1 John. We shall see him, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. You know what? We're going to be transformed from mortal to immortality. I don't know about you guys, but I can't even imagine. Seriously. I mean, we don't even know what lies ahead of us. It's going to be so cool. Oh, guys, I'm so excited. All right, let's just get to here. But you know what? The news this morning started off huge because Saudi Arabia was sending its foreign minister to the West Bank in preparation for a two-state solution. And Saudi Arabia sent a lower-level delegation to Ramallah in September of 2023, right before October 7th, to prepare for Saudi Arabia normalization with Israel, there to the West Bank. But this guy, Prince Faisal bin Farhan, he's going to become the first Saudi foreign minister ever to visit the West Bank on Sunday. So this is going to be something to watch. The top Saudi diplomat there, let's see here, he's going to head a delegation to Ramallah. And this will be the first such trip since Israel captured the West Bank from Jordan during the Six-Day War of 1967. And his trip was announced as Israel vowed to build a Jewish-Israeli state in the West Bank after doubling down on its plans to expand settlements there. And that's going to raise up all kinds of issues because Israel announced yesterday, we just talked about that last night, where they're going to build 22 new settlements. You know, all the news was talking about this morning. This is just wild because he's going to basically lead an Arab delegation. The foreign ministers of Egypt are going to be there, Jordan and other countries. Actually, I'll tell you all the nations here in a minute that are going to be there. But you know what? They said that these talks are going to focus on Arab efforts for a two-state solution based on the 1967 borders and East Jerusalem as the Palestinian capital. So Saudi Arabia and France are still expected to hold their conference there at the United Nations headquarters in New York next month. And Paris is going to recognize Palestinian statehood. But a senior advisor to the Saudi foreign minister said regional peace begins with recognizing the state of Palestine. And by going there to the West Bank to meet with Mahmoud Abbas and Palestinian Authority. This isn't going to be just a symbolic gesture, but a strategic necessity. So I said this earlier, and I said, Israel, please do not be this blind. But Israel is blind. Because Israeli officials believe that Emmanuel Macron, there on the left, won't act to enforce a Palestinian state recognition as long as the U.S. opposes these moves. So basically, as long as the U.S. is backing Israel, Israel's like, yeah, whatever, Macron, do what you got to do, but you are not having a state of Palestine because we have the U.S. on our back, and they're going to veto everything you put forth. Well, a bunch of countries are weighing the recognition of a Palestinian state, and Israeli officials still believe that French President Emmanuel Macron is unlikely to take that step following the conference. They are blind if they believe that. There's no intention to impose anything. Even the French diplomat sources told Ynet. So France is even trying to placate to Israel as well. Here's what he said. The summit goes far beyond recognition of Palestine. The goal is to launch an irreversible dynamic towards peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Of course, all member states of the UN have been invited, but the final list of participants still hasn't been made known yet because they're still putting it together. And that's coming up June 17th through the 20th. But Israel warned that if France recognizes a state of Palestine, Israel will annex territory. And they're going to respond by extending sovereignty over parts of the West Bank and even possibly close the French consulate in Jerusalem. That's what they warned today. That's what Israel warned. So asked whether France coordinated the summit with the United States amid the Israeli concerns that D.C. may be using it as leverage. A French official said, we are involving the United States, and we view the United States as complementing these efforts to end the war and secure a ceasefire and a hostage deal. The French Foreign Minister, Jean-Noël Barrot, warned that the violence since October 7th has placed the decades-long diplomatic framework at risk. He said that there's diplomatic framework that's been in place for decades, and I believe he's referring to the Oslo Accords, back there, I think it was around 2002, if I remember right. But the Knesset member responded today saying there's been no 30-year Israeli consensus on a Palestinian state. Quite the opposite. The Knesset has overwhelmingly voted against unilateral recognition and even the Palestinian state's establishment. We are in a clash of civilizations right now, and you are on the wrong side of history. But it doesn't matter because the world's going to end up forcing this upon Israel, I believe. Actually, you know what? I got a friend, a colleague, actually sent me something today that she had read, and I'm still waiting to validate it, but it deals with Jared Kushner. And this won't be by force when all is said and done, because that's going to be the big deception. But meanwhile, remember Minister Israel Katz, a defense minister, yesterday that he said we're going to annex the West Bank then, and we're going to start off with 22 new settlements? Well, he hits back at President Emmanuel Macron. And Katz visited the West Bank there today. And this comes after Israel approved the construction of 22 new settlements, including the reestablishment of Sanur, which was evacuated in 2005 alongside Israel's disengagement from the Gaza Strip. In lauding the government's decision as a historic moment for the settler movement into Judea and Samaria, aka the West Bank, Israel Katz said that this also serves as a clear message to Macron and to his friends. Here's what he said. They will recognize a Palestinian state on paper, but we will build the Jewish-Israeli state on the ground. The paper will be thrown into the trash can of history, and the state of Israel will flourish and prosper. He continued, the defense minister Katz said, do not threaten us with sanctions because you will not bring us to our knees. The state of Israel will not bow its head in the face of threats. We are a people with a long and glorious history. We will stand tall and continue to lead the state of Israel on a strong and safe path until victory. Well, Macron gave a speech this morning, and he was there in Singapore. But Macron was talking about a global order. So I said, what's up with Macron's sudden morality attack? Did Bridget slap the hypocrisy out of him the other day? You guys saw that, the big old slap there on the airplane before he came down the stairs. Macron has been rising slowly and surely as a top dog, overtaking Europe. Macron mentioned 3 things today that indicates their mindsets of going against Israel, and says that these 3 things are destroying their credibility by supporting Israel and basically not by supporting Hamas. Macron said if we abandon Gaza, if we consider it a free pass for Israel, even if we condemn the terrorist attacks of October 7th, we are destroying our own credibility within the global order. This is why I think it's very important in our current environment to be consistent and to follow our principles, our roles, and to consider that what is at stake is clearly a global order. And what is at stake is our credibility to protect this global order.
If we abandon Gaza, if we consider there is a free pass for Israel, even if we do condemn the terrorist attacks, we kill our own credibility in the rest of the world. And this is why we do reject double standards, and this is why I think it's very important in our current environment to be consistent and to follow our principles, our rules, and to consider that what is at stake is clearly the global order, and what is at stake is our credibility to protect this global order.
This is getting crazy because Macron is still doing his thing, and he's going to bring about this peace plan, of course, with Israel, but you know, he's saying we've got to do this. And Israel's like, don't you dare. And basically Israel's like, watch me. But this came out from Barack David this evening regarding the big meeting on Sunday. This came out about 6-7 hours ago. And not many people were talking about it. But this is no good. Israel has declared to prevent the entry of the declaration of the Arab foreign ministries now on Sunday. They're not going to let in these foreign ministers for the official West Bank visit by the Arab leaders. This includes blocking, check this out. Listen to how many people this now blocks. Israel's like, nope. This includes blocking the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Turkey, Bahrain, Oman, to the Palestinian Authority. So Israel's going to prevent this. This could be the catalyst for something huge or something igniting something much bigger at hand. And we've been waiting for this spark to light the fuse. I don't know, guys. We're going to come back and talk about this in a second because a bunch of the Arab media then picked this up, as well as Jerusalem Post and Con News and whatnot. But this came out today, too, and a bunch of people are starting to talk about this secretly. And this could be regarding Elam. They're in Iran, and this could get very interesting. So I posed the question, could the Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear sites take place during Shavuot in a few days there, June 1st and 2nd, Sunday and Monday, when this Arab meeting is supposed to take place there in the West Bank? Israel could do a strike on Iran's nuclear sites. This could be an explosive weekend in Shavuot war that could appear. And if it does, you know what? This isn't just a war that starts on the ground, but it's in the heavens as well. Because if our departure is tied with Shavuot time frame, and I believe that it very well might be, yeah, there's going to be a huge spiritual battle in the heavens above. But Iran today even noticed to airmen, Natam, announcing a temporary airspace closure around Tehran on June 1st and 2nd as well. They say that this is due to planned rocket launches and drone activities. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Because just the fact that they're announcing that too, they might be thinking that Israel might be doing an attack, and they want to make sure that the airspace is open so that they can launch their rockets with True Promise 3. Or, in the next few days, we can start getting all kinds of indication that Tehran and Iran is moving all kinds of rocket launchers into place. And this will be more than just a test. And with Israeli and USA satellites, the foremost of Iran, and especially Elam's might not just be the nuclear program just yet. It might be their huge ballistic and military, their hypersonic missiles that they have ready to go. That could be the foremost of their might right now. So we got to keep an eye on that. That's another thing I'm watching this weekend. But here's what I mean. This started coming out even more, getting more coverage. The world says to Israel, don't you dare, Israel. Israel says back to the world, just watch us. Or as my buddy in Georgia says, Israel would just say to the world, hold my beer. You know, Israel is barring entry to foreign ministers from Arab countries who are planning to meet with the Palestinian Authority president there in Ramallah. So Israel even went as far tonight to inform the Vice President Hussein al-Sheikh, the new guy that was made Vice President by Mahmoud Abbas there, who looks like he's sleeping. But they're not going to allow the delegation of Arab foreign ministers to enter the territory and meet with Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah on Sunday. And the delegation was scheduled to arrive on Sunday with all those foreign ministers. And they're all freaking out, especially after the announcement of the 22 new settlements that's going to point to the annexation by Israel soon there of Judea and Samaria. And Macron is freaking out too. So Israel's going to make a lot of fuss and noise trying to prevent these guys from coming in to do this meeting. But all the rest of the Arab parties are going to make a bunch of noise too. So here's the thing, and this one's a little longer for a second, but I'll try to keep it easy for everyone. But, you know, why does this matter? Well, this unusual decision further is going to exasperate the tensions between Benjamin Netanyahu's government and Israel's Arab neighbors. So Trump made bringing Saudi Arabia and other countries into the Abraham Accords with Israel a top foreign policy goal. And Israel's move shows how far off that is currently. But the diplomatic dispute underscores how isolated Israel has become internationally after 19 months of war in Gaza. Almost every nation has turned on them now. Most all of them are starting to cancel, you know what I mean? Weapons going in, this, that, the other. So, but what's driving all this insanity? Well, I mean, the Saudi foreign minister organized the visit of these Arab and Muslim foreign ministers to Ramallah as a part of the Saudi diplomatic initiative to push for international recognition of a Palestinian state. And Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally supported this trip, which was also to show support for the embattled Palestinian Authority. So the delegation was set to arrive on Sunday in 2 helicopters from Jordan and meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. And in order to enter the occupied West Bank of Judea and Samaria, though, the delegation needs approval from the Israeli government. And the Israeli government debated the issue today and decided to block it. So, what are they saying? Well, a senior Israeli official told reporters that the Palestinian Authority intended to host a defiant meeting of Arab foreign ministers for a discussion aimed at promoting the establishment of a Palestinian state. And such a state would certainly become a terrorist state in the heart of the land of Israel. Israel will not cooperate with moves designed to harm Israel and its security. The Palestinian Authority must stop violating its agreement with Israel on all levels, the Israeli official said. So now when we read between the lines, you know, in mid-June, June 17th through 20th, Saudi Arabia and France are going to hold the international conference at UN headquarters in support of the two-state solution to the Palestinian-Israel conflict. So France and Saudi Arabia have been pushing countries to recognize a Palestinian state. Get ready for this conference, basically. And blocking this Arab delegation is a signal of opposition from the Israeli government towards the state of Palestine, of course. So what's the state of play? Well, Israel's relations with many Arab foreign countries have been deteriorating since the current right-wing government assumed office in December 2022 under Netanyahu. And in particular, as the death toll and humanitarian crisis in Gaza has grown. I mean, earlier this week, even the United Arab Emirates summoned Israel's ambassador to its foreign ministry for an unusual, smackdown. Basically, this was more. An Emirati official said the meeting was extremely tough and that the ambassador was given angry messages to send back to Netanyahu. You know you have a problem when the UAE calls you into the principal's office. It's not because you were tardy to class either, the Emirati official said. So what's next? Well, stay tuned because Saturday going into Sunday could get fairly explosive. Not only on the political scene, but also on the military front as well. I mean, the world is beginning to see that Israel's not a country that wants to see peace right now, at least not in their minds. And they're quickly seeing that Israel's not interested in the peace plan that the world is trying to offer. The only peace plan they know is to bring about the two-state solution with Israel inside, Israel living side by side with the Palestine. So, there's a lot to watch this weekend, and there's a lot I'm watching this weekend, that's for sure. I don't know. You know what? There's so much going on. This is really neat, too. I'm just going to throw this out. We're going to round it out here in a few minutes, but this came out today, and let me see if I can scroll in. See these 3 things down there underneath the wing? There's 7 rockets, and there's 3 pods there, and then there's 3 pods on the other side. This F-15 Eagle now, there's 21 on each side, and each one of those, there's 42 small rockets right there that are meant to take out drones. And those, the United States and Israel, I mean, they're getting really wild because everything's going towards drone warfare. Oh, man, we've got to keep an eye on this. Oh, yeah, we got to keep an eye on this guy, too. You guys remember him. Mr. Good old, what's his name? Jared Kushner, yeah. Because this is starting to pop up on Israeli media. Netanyahu must grant Jared Kushner diplomatic oversight. They're saying that Jared Kushner is the only individual with the influence and credibility to effectively lead peace negotiations in the Middle East. Huh. Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But you know what? This weekend is huge because Jesus Christ filled the first 3 feasts, and there's 4 feasts left to go. We've got Pentecost, Shavuot, Feast of Weeks is beginning. Oh, man, guys, it's getting close, but yeah. Oh, yeah, see, this is another one. A subscriber sent this to me tonight, so we're waiting to see if this is actually confirmation, but it's a rumor, and I haven't put it out yet, but this came out, and she sent this to me. It said, the Jerusalem Post, Israel's most important newspaper, has written a new publication dedicated to Jared Kushner. It will be next Thursday's highlight news, and it will be titled, Why is Jared Kushner's return important to Jews, Arabs, and Muslims? This could be a nothing burger, but it could be something to be like, huh. With everything else going on, it wouldn't surprise me. Because all this insanity is just getting so close. Here's the ending of what she sent on this. But Jared is praised by all the Israeli newspapers. He is loved by the people of Israel, both Arabs and Muslims, and by the chief rabbis of Israel. The Abrahamic covenant of the Abraham Accords belongs to him. He created it. And one day he will confirm it if he manages to bring peace and security to the Middle East. The last part of her statement to me was, peace will never be forced on Israel. A forced peace is not a deception. Israel has to voluntarily give peace. So it can't, give in to peace. So it can be a deception. And the voluntary and deceitful peace is being given throughout the Abraham Accord with all the agreements coming up. That's all Jared Kushner's baby. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that too, guys. But you know what? It's going to be so exciting. But guys, yeah, I'm going to throw that down in the... we're going to be talking about Pentecost tomorrow there. Shavuot. There, the Feast of Weeks there with Isaiah 153. And there we are. Tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. So that'll be a lot of fun. And come over and join us, guys. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But he's going to bring up a lot of stuff. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But you know what? In these final days, we just want to encourage each other. Because we're looking for the blessed hope. And those of us who are looking for the soon return of Jesus Christ, we all have the same hope within us. And it's so exciting because we get to meet in meetings like this. And like this little premiere tonight. And then, just fellowship down below. I love that. So I'm going to try to get this uploaded here at 10:30 or so. But just like 1 Thessalonians 5:11, guys. Therefore, encourage one another and build up one another just as you also are doing. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. And for those of you who are moderators on this channel, I always forget to say thank you to you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your love and your friendship over these years. But you know what? We are going home soon, and this is a weekend to watch. And but you know what? Jesus Christ is coming so soon, and we are going to hear that trumpet sound so very soon, guys. And it very well could be this weekend. All right, I'll see you here, there, in the air. Maranatha, guys. We are going home soon. We'll talk soon.